was Snoop and Martha Stewart. You find that Snoop calling hockey.
It's a good clip.
Play-by-play.
I like it, though. I love this experience, man. This is special right here to be up close and personal.
Last seats.
Oh, they over here right next to me. Watch out now, dog. Watch out now. Hello. Hello. How y'all doing tonight?
It's Arthur Callion sliding in the corner there.
Yeah, sliding on ice like a pair of dice. Too hip to slip. You dig? Get that.
It's clear as
Get back on D. We got that. We got the rock now. Turn it around. Run that three-man weave. Run that weave. Run that weave. Run that three-man
There's
weave.
Victor Arvidsson.
Oh, come on now. Slow up. Oh, get back on the good foot. Watch out now. Slide it around. There you go. Oh, give me the money.
I follow in the slot. Couldn't handle it.
I'll follow you to the liquor store. Come on now.
Well, for all the people who say that Poundcake's bars are, Poundcake has said that Snoop Dogg's bars are whack. And he's not alone in that. You're not alone in that. But he is a singular personality when it comes to stuff like that.
Yes, he is a personality. He is a hype man, but no one ever said, oh my God, Snoop's flow. Like he killed that. He's spitting like he
straight fire.
Not ever. Ever.
But you are not alone in that. I don't even know if that rises to the level of an unpopular opinion because you're not alone in that.
I think he's in the camp with Flavor Flav. No one says Flavor Flav's a good rapper.
Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav.
I think many people don't even consider him a rapper as much as like just a hype man. But Snoop, like you don't remember because you weren't around or you were a baby, but Snoop was the epitome of cool at one point.
His image,
that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
the early 90s when he partnered up with Dr. Dre and that West Coast thing, man, there was nobody that could touch Snoop.
Yeah, his image is
one
of a
his
rapper,
image was because of his songs. His style was completely different than like that laid back style was not a thing yet.
There's a lot.
Poundcake, are you saying that you could do better than 1, 2, 3, and to the 4? Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance?
I don't know. He kind of ate that.
So NBC is going to live stream all the Olympics on Peacock. They will be 6 hours ahead of us there in Paris, I believe.
They're still trying to make Peacock a thing, aren't they? Who has Peacock?
Oh, they're forcing people. I got Peacock.
Yeah, I have Peacock. I mean,
like Peacock. I watch it quite a bit, actually.
We started The Office from the beginning over the break.
Yeah. How much is it a month?
$4.99. It's not much.
I was thinking
it's cheap compared to the other one because the other ones, once they got their hooks in you, they're like $25 now for Max or whatever. Or like the Disney Plus package that I have, where it's Disney and Hulu and ESPN Plus all together, is expensive as hell now.
Yeah, and I'm paying, and I don't even watch ESPN, so I'm paying for that as part of my bundle. I'm like, I don't even use it.
Can't even get rid of it.
And then everybody got the email that Amazon is going to start putting ads in. Amazon's
already been putting ads in at the beginning of shows because every time I try and watch anything, they're like, well, before you get into this episode of Reacher, watch this preview for some other crap.
But to their slight credit, Amazon has held out longer than everybody else.
Mm-hmm. I think Netflix is the only one that hasn't.
But they will.
They will.
Yeah, they said it.
But are they going to actually do advertisements, or is it just like what they do on Max and stuff, where they just show you a little skippable segment of like another show that they're trying to promote on their platform?
Don't know.
So
but it was only a matter of time. It was never, the business model was never one that was not ever going to have ads. They just couldn't keep it ad free.
Why?
Because
people
more
were paying for
when Netflix was the only game in town, they had all that venture capital prop them up, and they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on content, and then more and more and more. Everybody got into the streaming game, and so you're just fragmenting that more and more and more.
So people are just going to come full circle and go back to commercial television. That's what's going to happen.
Well, it already is. It is cable now.
Basically,
you're just subscribing to the channels individually. Mm-hmm. That's why, in a couple of years, cable companies, the ones that are still around, although unfortunately they're owned by the same companies that own the streamers, the cable companies could make a hell of a case for because they have so much content on demand with cable packages. So while they've been watching these streaming services getting even more fragmented, cable companies are going to have a great story to tell about, hey, it's basically us
But it's also
remember when you cut the cord? That's what all this is now.
But it was
so much stuff
because
is
they were
merging now, though, that it's gonna
Yeah.
be it's gonna come down to 4 companies.
Yeah.
And then I mean, right? Showtime just merged with Paramount Plus. Max has a whole bunch of different cable channels that are all merged together. It's gonna just keep getting down. You know, monopolies are going to be
Warner Brothers wants to buy Discovery.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be,
Hulu and what is it? Hulu merged with
Hulu's owned by Disney.
Plus.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's amazing the stuff that like as Amazon. I don't know. I didn't even realize I had Amazon until my brother told me, and
I didn't know it came with the Prime subscription.
That's what I'm saying. I have a bunch of stuff on there.
I had it for like a year. Amazon Prime delivery, I was
Yeah,
using, and
yeah,
then someone was
it's
like,
all together.
you get like the streaming service with that. I was like, I had no idea.
And then like this, there's a bunch of free movies and free TV shows on YouTube, like not YouTube TV. Like I was watching like Judge Judy, and there's like movies free with ads, and I'm like, wow, like they just there's just so much content out there. They're begging for people to watch because at least they can stick an ad in there or something, and they make money from that. But it's just so saturated. I don't know how. I'm just not gonna pay. Like I just refuse. I'm just not on principle. I'm like, y'all not paying Taraji P. Henson. Y'all not paying Monique. I'm not giving Netflix my money.
oh, you're doing this on their behalf.
No, but that's the excuse I'm using.
To whom?
Netflix. I'm not.
You're writing them a strongly worded letter?
No, I'm just not gonna pay for their service because
You don't pay for it anyway.
I know, but that's the excuse that I'm using. That's what I'm saying.
You want them to know why you're not doing it.
I refuse. Y'all not getting my money because y'all charge too much, and it's not going back to my black sisters of Hollywood. So no.
What if they give Monique what she wants? Will you kick in?
Depends.
Well, because that money would now be going to her.
Depends.
Depends on what?
It's not just Monique thing.
What if they up to?
Taraji P.
It's
and
Monique
sisters.
and Taraji P.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. When they start upping their wages, then I might see. You might get.
We've upped our wages. Now up yours.
My $9.99.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even know.
Poundcake's in tough financial times for now too.
Yeah.
Stop
Okay.
talking
So.
about how poor I am.
Well, okay. So you mentioned this earlier that you couldn't go to Mary's farewell show because you were out of town. But I don't think you alluded to what had been going on.
I did. Everyone has kind of been like blowing me up because they don't know what's going on. So the day that Thursday, what was the December 14th was our last show of the year.
Yes.
So that night, like I planned, I had to do all my Christmas shopping. I was going to spend some time with family, do a little traveling. I had some events that I had to go to, like through Rock the House. You guys know I work through Rock the House, so I had events scheduled and stuff like that. So I had like a pretty busy vacation planned. I was going to make use of it. So Thursday night, I'm just like sitting in my room watching a movie, and then I pass out. No big deal. And then around 3 a.m., I hear Lakewood Police. Hello.
Uh-oh.
Lakewood Police. And I'm asleep. I had just gone to sleep at like 1. So I'm like, what? Am I dreaming? You're in that like foggy haze when you just wake up. I'm like, this can't be real.
Especially when somebody's pounding on your door.
And yeah, and then when I'm thinking, and then when I find out it's real, I'm like, ooh, who's making meth? I was like, it clearly isn't me. I'm like, what would I do to warrant someone beating on my door? I'm like, what is going on? And then so I'm like trying to be nosy and creep through the peephole and see. I'm in my underwear, and I look through the little peephole, and I don't see anybody. I'm like, what the hell? And then I open up the door, and there's like an officer standing there. He's like, are you Cody? I'm like, yes. And I'm not going to say the color of my car or anything like that, but he was like, do you drive a Kia? And I said, yes. He said,
Did you drive a Kia?
He said, do you drive a Kia? I said, yes. He said, it's been stolen and it's in a pursuit. It's been in a pursuit. And we were just making sure that you were not driving. I said, no, I'm not driving. He said, well, we just got to ask you a few questions. You can go get dressed. I'm like, oh, good God. So you want to talk about a rude awakening, the police pounding on your door, knowing that your car has been stolen.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Right off the street.
And this is right like the day after.
So I had all this stuff planned.
Yeah.
First day of vacation.
This is the 15th, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God. So then now I'm calling my mom, and now she's worried and blah blah because I think
And this is not an old car.
No, it's new. And originally they didn't know who was driving it because if I'm in a pursuit, they they need to know what I look like. They didn't know what I looked like, so they're calling my mom. They're like, I think your son is on the run from the police.
Oh my God.
So she's blowing up my phone, and she's
So
like,
they ran the plate? Is that how they got back to you?
Yep,
Okay.
Yep. And so and I'm asleep. I know it's probably bad, but my phone is on vibrate while I'm sleeping. I'm not expecting, if someone, I understand if there's an emergency, but the emergency is still going to be an emergency when I wake up.
Right.
I'm not expecting, I don't keep my ringer on while I'm sleeping.
Either.
I don't either.
And so my mom was like irate. I, no joke, woke up to like 100 calls between my mom and my brother because they called my mom and then they called my brother and then they're calling each other. And so they couldn't get a hold of me. So they were thinking,
But they at least knew it wasn't you that was leading the cops on a high-speed chase.
They didn't know. They asked.
Yeah, but you go 30 on the highway.
Correct. But my mom and my brother knew, but like the police officers didn't know.
No, that's what I mean.
They
Your family
knew
knew
it though
wasn't
because
you.
they saw the window that was busted out, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's why I got to give Lakewood PD credit, because if that was in Cleveland, that would be a totally different story. They're not worried about no window being busted out or a car being stolen. Lakewood, I mean, they were on it and they alerted the guy or whatever. They turned their sirens on and started.
So they
chasing him.
catch up to him?
I guess, but then he got out and like ran.
So he ran, but they got your car.
Yes, they have my
Yeah.
car, and it's just
They
being
still
repaired.
have it.
No. It's being it's in the shop. So
Okay.
any day
Yeah,
now,
I had to give him a ride today.
yeah, any day now it should be done. I don't know if
So
the
they
people
didn't destroy the car. I mean, some people,
Well, they
their
broke
cars
the
stole.
window out, didn't they?
broke the window out, and then when I don't know all the specific details on. I've never hot wired a car, so I don't know the process of doing it. But and then there's no body damage. Like it's just been a lot. So I've just been out. So the entire break, I had to do my Christmas shopping. I still had to somewhat work and do stuff. Like it's still Christmas time. I still had to do things. So between staying with my brother and staying with my friend.
And you did that just so you would have someone to cart you around
Yeah,
town.
because I can't have my brother. If I'm shopping for my brother, I'm not going to have him drive me to
the
go
store.
Christmas
Yeah.
shopping. And then luckily I live close enough to where I can get just enough that I can carry. I can walk to the store.
For like groceries.
Yeah. But other than that, I had no social life. If they didn't come to me, then I'm at home. But
That sucks.
the
Day one
the-
of vacation.
The day one, no car, and then like I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't feel like explaining it. My mom, bless her heart, because you want to say I don't listen to the show. She doesn't listen to me. That's where I get it from, because I kind of
But
told
you're
her.
on the show.
And I'm her son, and I talk to her. And I was
My
telling
wife
her,
doesn't listen either. What do you tell? But we're on the show.
She was like, do you know that there's a trend of stealing Kias? I said, yes, mother, I do. She's like, yeah, there's a trend on TikTok called the Kia Boys. Boys spelled with a Z. And they film themselves stealing Kias. I said, oh, you don't say. And so, yeah, that was a whole thing.
Man, Kia's up against it, boy, with all these thefts. It's going to cut into sales.
Dude,
That's
I'm
no fun.
literally about to go online right now and get the club because I have a Kia.
Yeah, you should.
I'm not even kidding. I was nervous about that because I'm like, it's all street parking in New York City. And if
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
the club's not
watch-
going to stop them. They'll just pull the thing right off.
No, that's what people are saying, that like generally there's
That's
so
the-
many Kias that it's like at least a deterrent. That if they see mine,
Well,
that they're
visual
not going to be
deterrent,
able to, well, because you can't move the steering wheel.
Yeah, but
It, like,
Poundcake,
locks out.
what do they do?
Hmm?
You said that people will just cut the steering wheel off
It'll be like a racing
How do
car,
they drive it?
a race car
because they
steering
cut
wheel.
the steering wheel off,
Yeah.
or like
But
in
then how
a
do you
section,
steer
The part
it?
where it's
so that
clipped.
you can take it off, and
How
then
do
you can
you
drive it.
steer it?
Because they leave the sides.
Just enough to where they can
Yeah.
hold on to it. You ever seen
Like a game controller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I've seen memes of that too. Yeah, you ever seen like a bumper car steering wheel where it's just
Yeah.
like that's what they'll do if they're. I mean, I don't think they're taking it for like to drive it. They're trying to.
part it out.
Yeah, so they only need it for a little bit.
Well, Kia has been sending people clubs
Yeah.
who buy their cars.
Well, that's like
They're like, yeah, we don't have a good fix for this yet.
How do you keep your Kia from being stolen? The first thing that comes up is get a club. Steal a steering wheel locking device, GPS tracker. Leave your porch lights on.
Yeah,
Lock all
just leave your
windows.
porch lights on.
Leave your car. Oh, never leave your car running. I thought I said leave your car running. I was like, I don't think that's a good one.
You know what? Leave it running, and whatever happens, happens.
If the car's running, don't try and steal that one. They'll be right back.
They're just warming it up.
Yeah.
Dude,
for
my
you.
sister did that. I've been staying with my sister for the last few weeks that I was home, and she went to move my car in the morning because there's 4 cars in the driveway. She went to move it, and then later that day, like to take her kids to school, like 8:30, and I was getting up and moving maybe around 11. I was like, "Hey, where are my keys?" She left my keys in my car in the ignition in the street, and I was like, "Was this an accident?" She goes, "No, I didn't think anybody would take it." I was like, "You left the keys in the ignition."
Here you go.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna fight you.
Because like when I opened it, it was like ding, ding, ding. I was like, "Oh my god, dude, what the hell?"
Some people are awesome at decisions, aren't they?
My goodness.
Really, really good at decisions.
Not me. Decisions aren't my thing.
Bill
Remember that
Squire,
one?
everybody. There you go.
Yeah.
That's right.
The Patina Art Center in Canton on January 13th.
Good for you. Guys, you're not going to have to hear me promote anything for so long. Does that make you so happy?
Well, listen, it's a free exchange of ideas around here. Club and zip tied the plastic under the steering wheel. The club absolutely works, somebody says.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I'm going to have to order one.
get one. Marty had one because he has a Hyundai, and that's happening to Hyundais too. And he didn't put the club on right because you're supposed to put it on so that it jams up against the door. So if you close the door, you can't steer it. And he had it so that it was just like the long part was up in the air. I'm like, see, you could still just drive this around. He's like, oh, okay.
Well, somebody had to show him how to use it. Not everybody knows.
I almost bought a Kia, and my buddy's like, people are breaking the Kias even if they're not the kind that you can steal, so don't get a Kia. So I did not get a Kia. Got a much cooler car.
What did you get?
I got a Dodge Challenger.
Bill's having a
Yeah,
midlife
this guy.
crisis.
Nope, not the way I live.
He's
This
having
is a
midlife
Make-A-Wish.
crisis. Oh, this is an end of the life crisis.
Yeah, it's an end of the life treat.
Pretty rad car, though.
Yeah, it is.
Those are nice.
I like
Two-door?
it. Two-door, yeah.
Well,
Oh, man, a
was
guy with no
showing
kids.
me-
That's the best.
Over the break, he's like sending me like, I think this is what I'm gonna get, blah blah blah. I was like, dude, that's trash on mileage. Like, you're not gonna be able to drive it. And he goes, I drive 4 miles a day.
I was
And
going to say,
like,
he's
I
not
guess I
worried
didn't
about the
think about that.
mileage.
Yeah, like
yeah.
you're not driving over hills
And
in
it's-
Wisconsin anymore.
I didn't get the like super expensive V8 one. It's a V6.
You mean
And
it's not fully loaded?
It's not fully loaded. And it's
V6?
It's all-wheel drive.
Yay.
Yeah, and the people are like, "Oh, you should go." But I drove a Chevy Sonic for 10 years.
Yeah, you were wearing that
This
car.
is the fastest car I've ever driven. It's great.
Have
I
you-
love it.
When is a situation where you're gonna be able to like crank it up, like to really see how fast it can go?
I don't know. I'm not because I'm also not like driving because I want to drive. I'm not like Ricky Bobby. Like I need to go fast. I just like the way it looks more than anything, and it, I did. I mean, the thing is, when you get on the highway, you have to pay attention because in my Sonic, if I was going 80, it felt like you were going 80.
Yeah.
If I get on the highway with this thing, it's
so
a much
smooth,
smoother
yeah.
ride that I have to be like, okay, I'm going 85 miles per hour right now. I need to calm down.
I rented. What kind of car did I rent when I was in? When I was in St. Louis, because I was driving from Springfield to St. Louis, and they upgraded me when I got there, and it was like a really nice SUV. Man, I can't remember the name of it. Is it Pacifica a nice SUV?
Chrysler Pacifica. It's more like
That
a
might-
minivan,
No,
isn't it?
that might not be it. That's not it then. But it was like a legit. I felt like a Kardashian, like high off the ground. Everything was brand new, and that was happening to me. I would look down, not even paying attention. I'm going like 90 miles per hour
Yeah.
because it was like you couldn't hear anything. It was completely silent. The ride was so smooth. I was like, that's terrifying.
I really like that car, though.
I want to know what that car was.
Sean in University Heights makes a good point. I really hope that the car thieves were playing good music while being pursued to maintain Poundcake's rep. So they could impress people with their music.
It was a Honda
Imagine
Pac-
these guys crank up his car and Celine Dion is just blasting through the radio and they turn it on.
I have Apple CarPlay. Thank you very much. So
You
no.
had Apple CarPlay.
Yeah.
I still have it. It's just not in my possession.
What kind of car was it, Mary?
It was probably
Honda-
start playing right off your car, your phone in the house. What, Mary?
Honda Passport.
A Honda Passport.
That made you feel like a Kardashian.
Dude, it was huge. I've never driven an SUV, and it was like 2023, like brand new.
I mean, those are large.
It was. I think maybe that's what it was, because you always see the Kardashians drive around those big giant cars.
The one thing I forgot to mention was when the cops showed up, it made like a scene because they were in pursuit at the time. So I don't know like at what point this took place because I was asleep, but there was like a couple cops deep at my apartment building with their lights flashing and everything. And then when they're knocking on my door, I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone's going to think I'm ghetto. The next day after it happened, I'm walking in. I had to go like do all the paperwork and stuff and with where it was impounded or where they found it. I walked in and one of my neighbors, I live like downstairs. He's like, "Did you hear all that commotion yesterday? Oh my gosh, they were looking for someone." And I was like, "No, that was me."
What kind of neighbors do we have? Oh, you didn't play it off? I
No,
fully thought you would play it off.
because I was already embarrassed. I was like, "No, it was me. I got my car stolen." He was like, "Oh, we'll have a better day," because it woke up the entire building because they just like were police knocking. Like they don't knock. It's not nature of the knock. Like, "Hi, we're trying to get Cody
They're
Brown."
banging on the
They're
door.
like, boom, 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 police. I'm like, what is going on?
They got to wake people up at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened.
I'm going to take a break here. If you want to send a text, 35192. You can leave messages if you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, and we'll be back after these.
Rover's Morning Glory.
I had my annual physical, which the man